Shoemake had problems right at the start, losing control of his machine, and it looked like Prudhomme was smoothly to another victory, but then the car exploded, burst into flames. Finally, the fiberglass body ripped off the top, and Prudhomme slid to a stop. He immediately started to unbuckle and climb out of his battered, burnt, and broken race car. The fire crews were there to put out the fire, to assist Prudhomme. Imagine the incredible heat that was transmitted to Prudhomme in that accident. They sprayed him to cool him down, but he was okay.
I think just one word describes that one: terrifying.
Yeah, it's probably about the worst one I ever had in my 20 years in racing. I'll tell you, it definitely caught my attention.
It blew late, right in the lights, or maybe even past him. The parachute went right away. Did you have any idea where you were before you came to a stop?
Not really, Steve. I knew I was still somewhere on the course because, obviously I hadn't hit anything up till that point. That's the only thing I was concerned about. I know it looked terrifying and everything, and it was bad from where I was sitting, that's for sure. But the safety of these cars are tremendous, and that's I have to give a lot of credit to NHRA and their safety committee that make us run different parts and pieces of equipment on the car to make them safe like they are today. And to walk away from something like that is spectacular.
So Don Prudhomme will not answer the call to face Jim Dunn, and Jim Dunn will make a bye run. Now, he will be running for lane choice.
That's right, Paul. The rules require Dunn, even though it's a gift from the snake, to make this run to keep wear and tear equal. Also, if he runs quicker than his opponent in the next round, he will have the choice of lanes, and sometimes that can be very, very important. Big Jim Dunn to a clocking of 6.13 seconds at 222 miles an hour.
So Big Jim Dunn moves ahead on a bye run as a result of that accident involving Don Prudhomme, and thank goodness that Prudhomme was not seriously injured in that accident. Here's a man that had problems earlier, but Rob Williams' crew has fired his engine. This is a new one that they've installed in the machine after it exploded in an earlier round.
Hard to believe they can install an entire new engine in just a matter of minutes, Paul. The driver of this car, Rob Williams from Colorado, has made the transition from high altitude to sea level very successfully this weekend. He'll be up against a touring professional, a former Nationals winner, Gary Bergen.
Oh, Gary Bergen is strapped in, uniformed, and ready to go as he comes to the line against Rob Williams. It will be Bergen in the far lane, Williams in the near side lane. And remember, Williams with a brand new motor bolted into that machine. Quick work by his crew.
These engine changes are exciting to watch in the pits, Paul, but seldom are they successful. It's untried equipment. There's a lot of question marks here. There's just so much work to do and so little time. Did they do it right?
Already it shows that engine change did not work. Gary Bergen goes on the way while Williams, with a dead engine, coasts to a stop on the drag strip. So Williams' crew had done such a fine job in replacing that engine. It just simply didn't work. Gary Bergen with a 6.06, 241 miles an hour. So that sets the stage for the semifinal round in Funny Car, as Gary Bergen will face Dale Armstrong and Dale Puldey will face Big Jim Dunn. The World Finals of drag racing, racing in Funny Car and in Pro Stock. A quarter-mile drag strip.
And one of the quickest quarter miles that these drivers have ever enjoyed, Paul. We're in the semifinals of Pro Stock Eliminator. It'll be the new world champion, Lee Shepard, the red and white car from Texas. This driver always so calm and cool. Quite a contrast as he will be racing the number 3 rated Pro Stock in the country, the always intense Frank Iaconio from New Jersey.
There's Lee Shepard as he will do his burnouts and race in the near side lane. Frank Iaconio on the far side in the bright yellow machine, and of course, Shepard has already wrapped up his world title.
I don't look for either driver to make a mistake on the starting line here, Paul. They're just too professional, too good. Both always on time. This will be a race of horsepower.
A highly competitive class of drag racing, the Pro Stock. Iaconio on the far lane, Shepard on the near side. Both cars away cleanly. An equal race. Down the track they fly. Nose to nose. And Shepard just barely edges it out.
It's a good thing we have an electronic finish line judge here, Paul. I don't know about you, but I couldn't have called that. by eye. Lee Shepard wins it by only 1/100th of a second. An 8:37 for Shepard, an 8:38 for Iaconio. It was indeed a race of horsepower, and here's what 1/100th looks like in drag racing.
A race that it could only be resolved by that electronic eye. And here is Mark Ewell, the man who upset the reigning world champion, Bob Glidden.
Ewell and the Ewell brothers, it'll be fun to go home to Reno and tell all your friends when they come by the shop that you beat Bob Glidden. Had you ever beat him before?
We've raced him now for 9 years in national event competition. Never once, not one single time have we ever beat him, so this was great. Excellent.
And you also played a role in determining the world championship for Lee Shepard.
Well, I'm really proud for Lee, and I'm sorry if that hurt Bob any, but I don't think it did.
He will face John Hagan, who for the first time in his career is in the final rounds of a nationals event. So Hagan on the line now, ready to face Mark Ewell.
Hagan is the world's fastest pro stocker. He had set a national record here at this event earlier, over 164 miles an hour, and Ewell is late. But Mark Ewell did not react to the light. Hagan's got a big lead and a lot of horsepower on the other end. It's a walk away for Hagan.
John Hagan with an 8.42, 164.53 miles an hour, moves into the final round where he will face Lee Shepard. And that will bring up the semifinal round in funny car as Dale Poldy faces Jim Dunn.
A pair of Californians here, Paul. One a fireman for a living, the other a drag racer for a living. Here's the fireman, Big Jim Dunn. These cars are very evenly matched if you look at their lap times from qualifying and in the earlier rounds. Poldy's car has a history of inconsistency, though, and Big Jim Dunn is so experienced, he seldom makes a mistake. And remember, this is his home track.
So Dale Poldy now in the cockpit. He is ready. The engine fired. Everything set to go, and this is the moment when the driver must clear his mind of all outside obstacles and concentrate merely on the job at hand, which is a quarter-mile racetrack in front of him. It is a race really against nothing but himself. He must drive as fast as he possibly can. Jim Dunn, last one at the Super Nationals in 1972 in Ontario. So it is Poldy on the near side, Dunn on the far side. They're away. And already Poldy lights the tires on the rear. If Dunn holds on, Jim Dunn moves to the final round.
Dunn clocks a 6.06 at 238 miles an hour. And here's an example of why you have to be constantly checking the track conditions. They change round after round. Poldy had too much horsepower. He simply overpowered the track. When you smoke the tires like this, the elapsed time just evaporates.
So Jim Dunn has moved into the final round here in the World Finals at Orange County International Raceway. Now only to be determined who will be his opposition as Gary Bergen comes up against Dale Armstrong.
Armstrong, the new national record holder at 5.89 seconds. He says that this World Finals event is his last ever race. He's retiring from the cockpit, going to work as a chief mechanic for another crew, the Speed Racer car based out of Pennsylvania.
Dale Armstrong has his machine on the line, but he's pulling his gloves off. The fire is out in his machine. Something's wrong.
The supercharger backfired, Paul, and when it did, the engine died. So Dale Armstrong is out of competition. Gary Bergen will have a solo run, but he's got to keep that car between the guardrail and the center line. If he touches either one, he could still be disqualified.
It is certainly not unknown for someone to be making a bye round and make a mistake, get across the line, or even lose control. So this is a run for lane choice as Gary Bergen screams down the strip and through the traps. 6.05, and that will give him the lane choice in the final round of funny car.
Dale Armstrong removes the Nomex sock possibly for the last time. He says he's retired, but he can still muster a smile, and who wouldn't with a new record?
And Gary Bergen gets a gift and gets the lane choice going to the final round. He's with Steve Evans.
What a funny car final we have got set up. Big Jim Dunn at 6.06 and Gary Bergen at a 6.05. And this is the first Bergen knows of that number. That means lane choice. Is it a factor?
I don't believe so. We run the right lane, which is supposedly the worst of the two lanes, if there is a worse lane, all weekend.
No one knows this track better than Jim Dunn. You're out all over the country racing. He's right here.
That's very true. In fact, Steve, we haven't raced here since 1977. I'm just happy with ourselves because we did so well at Fremont 2 weeks ago, and we're doing so well here.
And Here is the final round. Pro Stock Eliminator in the World Finals of drag racing. Lee Shepard will face John Hagen. And before they climbed in the machine, they met with Steve Evans back in the pit area. Steve?
All right, this could be a driver's battle. You guys are pretty close, laps time-wise.
Yeah, that's true. It's going to be a good race.
It'll be one on the starting lane, most likely, you know.
Okay, we'll be watching. Thank you.
So in the far lane, it will be John Hagen as he faces Lee Shepard. $15,000 and the event title on the line. Shepard pulls the whole shot, but now Hagen begins to answer. They're side by side. Shepard beginning to pull a lead, and it's Shepard across the line. 8.35 seconds, 151.29 miles an hour for Lee Shepard.
Not only is he the world champion established earlier today, he wins the World Finals Eliminator title and some $15,000 or $20,000 that goes along with it. Congratulations, Lee Shepard.
Thank you, Steve. That really feels great. I've never been so excited in my whole life.
Well, you don't sound like it, but I know you are inside. He's a soft-spoken Texan. There was only about 0.04 of a difference, so it really was a driver's race.
Yeah, John's been running awful good today. Sure has.
Why don't you come on out of this car? Let's not keep you prisoner in here. Okay, and here's the president of the National Hot Rod Association, Mr. Wally Parks, to shake the hand of Lee Shepard, and I can't think of a world championship that has ever been more deserving. If you recall, 1 year ago here this weekend, he was the man with the tears in his eyes when his lead evaporated to Bob Glidden. But Glidden's gone, that 18-wheeler is pulled out, and you're it. Again, congratulations to Rearan Morrison, to Lee and Mary Shepard, your Pro Stock World Champion and World Finals Champion.
So Lee Shepard picks up 2 titles, and it is quiet for the moment. But when we come back, the thunder of the funny cars as the final round will face Gary Bergen against Jim Dunn. Paul Page with Steve Evans, and we're standing by for the final elimination in funny car at Orange County International Raceway. In the far lane, Gary Bergen, and he will face Jim Dunn. Why did Jim Dunn make it to this final round? He told Steve Evans it was in part a matter of luck.
Yeah, you know, we're awful lucky, but we run good, but we're lucky and we play the odds that we'll run an O if we have to and try not to hurt it. And we'll try to run another O this run if we can get it together in time.
And this is your home track. You race here a lot. Bergen hasn't raced here since 1977.
Doesn't matter, it's good. If the track's good, you make power and you run good.
So Jim Dunn, a local favorite, as he faces the longtime pro Gary Bergen.
Gary Bergen, a homegrown product from Stanton, California, right here in Orange County. Now, Paul Dunn may call it luck. I call it experience, savvy. He has just been craftier than anyone else as far as adapting to this track round after round.
The conditions are absolutely perfect. The air has cooled in the past few minutes, and so these cars and motors are ready to do their job. As they come to the line, all the marbles are on this one simple quarter-mile run.
Jim Dunn says he's taking the conservative approach. Gary Bergen, as always, will go all out.
Gary Bergen rolls up the stage. Jim Dunn is ready. They're away, and Bergen lights the tires. The smoke shows just too much horsepower, and Jim Dunn wins the World Finals in Funny Car.
Big Jim Dunn with another 6.0 elapsed time has got this crowd cheering. They're on their feet. This is no fluke. Big Jim was in the finals of the U.S. Nationals this year.
A popular victory before his hometown crowd as Jim Dunn wins the World Finals of drag racing.
Well, we did good. We only killed about 7, I think.
Who cares at this point?
Right. We got 3 left.
And nothing but friends in your camp working on this car. No hired help, no fancy crew chiefs.
Nobody gets paid, not even me. In fact, I pay. They get 2 hamburgers tonight, right?
You do this strictly for fun.
That's it. We've always done it for fun. We always will.
Well, there's a man who enjoys his drag racing. Congratulations to Jim Dunn, who wins the event title in Funny Car. And congratulations, too, to Ray Beadle, who has the World Championship now in Funny Car, and Lee Shepard, who has won both the World title and the event title in Pro Stock. I'm Paul Page for Steve Evans. So long from the World Finals of Drag Racing.